Okay, I'm going to need a colour passport photo from everybody here by tomorrow for my flowchart.
There's Rob. Hey, Rob. Oh, thanks, Wait, what else do you want, Rob? Hat size, inside leg, favourite colour?
You're wasting time, you plonker. We should be getting our gear together for Andrew's piece. Oh, you mean the making money on the Atari ST feature? Thanks to space.
Oh, please, boys. Has anyone seen Jim?
Yeah, last time I heard, I think you just had to get a haircut.
A haircut? That's what he gets wisdom teeth.
So what, actually, what?
What's that? You ever thought about getting wisdom teeth put in?
Yeah, Shab, get some wisdom. Come on, Sab, put him down. We need him for the Escapade feature.
Jesus, we gotta go. Jake, I don't need you if you're busy. I'm through. I'm not like this.
Yeah, Jake, sorry, can't time the time.
Just a little pipsqueak. We'll see about that. You can sit on Tony's lap.
Hey guys, take a look at this. Finished the new graphics of the feature intros.
Yeah?
Who are these people? What am I doing here?
Well done, Jason.
You're a genius,
Jason.
I can't read this.
This most probably ain't as good as the real thing.
Oh, shut up. I can't wait to get on this thing.
Well, have you got any nappies on, Tone?
First things first, Britannia Airways 737 flight trainer is not a toy. It's a fully featured flight simulator.
Climb in and I'll explain things when we get inside.
I can't wait to have a go.
It's used by professional pilots to increase the rating of their pilot license. A trained pilot who has never flown a 737 before can step right out of a 6-week training course into the cockpit of the real passenger-carrying thing.
Where's the parachutes? Oh, there aren't any parachutes on board these, I'm afraid.
No parachute.
No. Okay, here we go.
Take a look around and you'll see how virtual reality really should be.
This is the point at which we take
Too many buttons.
begin pulling back on the control column.
Too many gauges.
Every dial and control is perfectly copied in the £10.5 million machine. It may sound expensive, but compare that to previous training methods where airlines would sit an $80 million plane on the ground and train in that. By hiring out the simulation to private pilots and other airlines, the unit can pay for itself inside 10 years.
A very easy instrument to understand. The scale's quite clearly marked around the outside.
We've only got 20 minutes left. This is costing £400 an hour. And all they're doing is talking. Well, hurry up, John.
£400 an hour may seem a little pricey, but for a pilot, the experience is invaluable. Where else could you fly through a storm with 3 engines off in complete safety? In real life, you don't get another chance.
Onto the reverse thrusters and slow us down.
Oh, sweat. I'm too good.
The sim is essentially a mounted box. Hydraulic legs lift and tip the unit to simulate the movements of flight, so it is still possible to be airsick. Thankfully, you can turn the movement off, needed with a pilot like Jake. Try to keep it level, son.
We land on the rear set wheels rather than the nose wheel.
Computers display the outside world smoothly on 2 monitors, magnified through special lenses to fill the cockpit windows. All this combined makes for the experience of a lifetime.
There we go.
My turn. Come on, out.
I'm very sorry, Tony, we're just out of time. Would you like to come back another time?
That's all right, mate. You don't want to go anyway.
That's unfair.
How would you like a shot at flying a Boeing 737? We've got an hour's flying time on the Escapade for one lucky viewer. All you have to do is answer this one simple question. All airports are identified by a 3-letter code. For example, Luton is LTN. What are the codes for London Gatwick, Amsterdam Schiphol and Paris Charles de Gaulle? Send your answers on a postcard to Click 233 Canalot Studios, Kensal Road, London W10 5DN by the 31st of January.
Excuse me, have you got a mirror?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, no. might know why I'm here. I'm here to review this rather interesting insight into football management. And let's hope for a good, clean game. It takes some guts to bring out a football management game these days. After all, they've all been done to death, and just about everybody already has one. So what's so special about Super League Manager from Audiogenic? Well, for a start, it has everything a budding young manager could want. A filofax, a phone, a shiny nameplate, and even a cup of coffee for 11s. In fact, it's a very entertaining strategy game with a high level of detail. It also links up to the award-winning Emlyn Hughes International Soccer, allowing you to have a hand in playing on the field as well as off. It's simple enough for the juniors, but intricate enough to keep the experienced player happy. And there's more. It also has enjoyable little details such as letters from fans. Hold on a minute, I better get the phone. As you can see, from time to time you also have to negotiate with the players. But remember, the team always comes first. Anyway, I've got to go and give Graham Taylor some coaching tips now. But my advice to you is, sign up Super League Manager. You'll be over the moon, Graham. Virgin have taken the elements of a number of board games we've all seen before and produced a masterpiece. Spot is very simple to learn and extremely addictive. I can't leave it alone. Spot can be played by 1 to 4 players and control is with a joystick, keyboard or mouse. There are 9 different levels of difficulty, so there's enough playability to give even the most seasoned player value for money. You have the option of a clock timing your move with a choice of 1 to 9 minutes to move, or no limit at all. Your host for this game is a rather bizarre red ball with arms and legs called Spot. He lets you know when it's your move and when you're breaking the incredibly simple rules. And if you're bored with the playing area, you can change it for any number of alternatives, or add your own squares as it suits you. I'm hooked. This is the best thing since Tetris. Someone, please tear me away. I've got other work to do.
Robert, my turn to do a review.
Sap?
As the man said, they're back. Billy and Jimmy have returned in their toughest mission to date. Travelling around the world in search of 3 Rosetta Stones, 3 pieces of brick, that nobody wants them to have. Some arcade games progress, some build upon original themes, and some just don't improve with age. Double Dragon is one of these. From the start, you can see what sort of game it is. A run-of-the-mill beat 'em up with all the usual moves, such as punch, duck and flying kick. It's nothing new though. The only original factor I could find was the interesting way you change appearance every time you lose a life. Storm have actually done an excellent job at converting the arcade original. But the problem is, Double Dragon was never a really good arcade game. In its new incarnation, it's still slow and unresponsive, and even the chance to buy new weapons and moves does very little to improve the game. In Covert Action, we enter the world of spies, lies and killer thighs. The president has a problem, a matter of national security, and you're the only person who can help him. Anyone who can't handle a complex and involving game should go back to their Lego. Covert Action seems almost limitless in its amount of options. Remember, a spy can do anything and go anywhere, and that is exactly what this game lets you do. Armed with a handful of clues, you have to thwart an international group of terrorists. Who are they? And what they do is down to you to find out. By searching buildings, you can find clues to help you in your mission, as well as a few enemy agents. Remember, you have a license to kill. Take to the streets, in style or not, and follow your suspects. It's the easiest way to discover new locations. On top of all this, Covert Action has messages and codes to crack, and a little bit of wiretapping thrown in. It might take you a week or two to fully understand it, but I think it will definitely pay off. Who said being a spy was easy anyway?
Johnny Smith and Sherwood.
Yes, Johnny, good Johnny.
Well, I'm the editor and I should have been playing.
Oh, did you have a good time then?
Not bad, not bad.
Did we ever? I want to be a pilot.
You'd be lucky to be an air stewardess.
Is Jim still on it? No, I've been in all day and I haven't seen him. I don't know where he could be.
For years, ST owners have been deprived of a true quality art package. However, the wait is over. Deluxe Paint ST has arrived. The package contains all of the standard features of the series that no one has ever managed to better, all run from an easy-to-use menu bar. Although the ST palette is far more restricted than the Amiga, there's no reason why you can't create staggering images like this one. Naturally, there are tools to help those of us who aren't skilled artists. Straight lines and arcs can be drawn easily at the touch of a button, along with coloured fills, airbrushing, and even perspective effects. Colour cycling is a good way to make your images come to life. Have you ever seen a psychedelic candle? Once you have completed your rough drawing, you can use some interesting effects to aid your presentation, such as blending colours or smoothing rough edges. And of course, animation is the mainstay of Deluxe Paint. This sequence was created by the computer using a tool called tweening. Deluxe Paint ST is what ST artists have been crying out for.
Hi, Andrew. I wonder what happened to you.
All right.
Yeah.
Andrew, how you doing? All right, just want to give you
Hey, Rob, this is where she must have come to have his wisdom teeth out.
Oh, very
Hey, wow. You've got enough equipment in here, haven't you, Andrew?
Yeah, I think so. Is that enough?
All right, Sam, give me the mic. I'd like you over there, I think so. Out of the way, Andrew.
Why?
Like you. Oh, yeah, but no. I'd like you sitting in the chair. You're.
We'll be rolling.
Hello, viewers, or should I say listeners. I'm here today with Andrew Mackay of the Gormac Music Organisation, and we're here to tell you something about using the Atari ST as a music-making instrument.
Rob, it's not an instrument.
Using the Atari ST as a,
It's really more like a glorified tape recorder. It enables me to record various sounds which are over here, with the keyboard here, which goes back onto the computer over here and onto disk down here.
Right. Okay, Andrew. I think, since you're the man who wrote the music for Click, can you give us a little bit of insight into how that happened?
Well, what I can do, I can give you a demonstration of something which I prepared earlier, and I can play the hi-hats there first of all, which I've recorded from this sound source down here, and then I can bring in the tambourine, and then bring in some bass, which comes from over here, and then bass drum and snare, and then I can bring in some strings, and just to really top it all, I can bring in some more drums. But just to prove that it's not all just coming from computer, I can drop into record by doing that, and actually play some piano over here. And I go back over here, and I can solo up that sound, and I can actually see visually on the screen what notes I've played.
Oh, wow. I never knew you could do that. Just by pressing one...
Hang on, this is my feature!
Sequence.
Yeah. Oh.
Drum sequence.
Andrew, thank you. Now, I know your latest record's just been released. How did you do it? What's it all about?
Well, it's not really my record, I'm not the artist. It's with the film actor, Peter Cushing, there he is there, and I was the writer and producer. And I recorded a lot of it on this, on the Atari. What I'll do is I'll play you a bit of it. Got it queued up here for you. So the majority of it was recorded on the Atari. I actually went to another recording studio to mix it. A different sound to it.
Oh, I think that's very good, Andrew. I mean, it's awfully funky. Now...
What equipment do you need to start off with then?
Well, obviously you need the Atari, which is the main thing. And the software that I'm using is called Uniter, which enables you to see the music, which is quite important for the sort of music that I do. Originally, I just started off with this one piece of equipment here, which is a Roland D110, which has got bass, drums, various other instruments, so you can actually create a whole track just with that. But as the years have gone on, I've added new things like this M1R here, various samplers, various keyboards over here, and well, now you see it all.
Well, Andrew, I'm afraid we're just about running out of time, but what I was thinking of then is, lots of our viewers, I think, are probably writing music of their own at home.
Right.
If they send it in, would you be prepared to give it a listen, and maybe if it is good, send it into your record company for them to consider?
Yeah, I think I'll do that, yeah, no problem.
Okay, great, thanks a lot. Okay, well, I'm off to buy myself an Atari ST, and I'll see you guys on top of the pops.
You gonna do, Bob? Flowchart Mega Mix, huh?
So, as Andrew said, if you've produced a piece of music using the ST, send it in to us at this address on an ordinary audio cassette tape, and we'll make sure he gives it a listen. If he thinks you're good enough, he'll pass it on to his record company. Who knows? Maybe we'll see you on top of the pops too.
Jace, who's that girl in reception?
What girl?
Well, the good-looking blonde, didn't I tell you? She's been waiting over an hour for you.
Nobody told me anything. Better check it out.
Yeah. Get him every time. The Demon King has killed your master and fled into the future. With the help of your master's wizard, you have followed him into the unknown to seek your revenge. Your mission takes you through the ruined countryside as you're slugging it out on and in a subway train and across a town in futuristic Japan. Not a pretty place, thanks to the Demon King. You come across bloodthirsty bats, rats and many other creatures I couldn't try to put a name to. One great feature of this game is the personalised access code. This allows you to remember where you left off and take up from there when you restart the game. An obvious feature, really, and a serious plus point. Well, I don't know why all games don't have it. Without it, you have to fight your way through all the early levels until you know every inch of them. And where's the fun in playing something you can win with your eyes shut? The joystick controls are straightforward, while giving you a wide range of moves with no need to use the keyboard at all. By digging with your sword, you can gain access to the many underground caverns, where you'll find weapons and power-ups of the mystical and physical variety. You'll also find yet more mutants hungry for your blood. There are more beat-em-ups on the market than I'd care to count, and finding one worth looking at is always a nice surprise. First Samurai is well worth taking a look at. You are Perseus in Gremlin's latest release, Pegasus. A shoot-'em-up with elements of a platform game, a beat-'em-up, and even some adventure. Satan has invaded the 5 planes of existence, and shattered the crystals which hold the souls of each plane. You must battle his evil cohorts and collect the fragments of the crystal. Pegasus boasts 50 levels combining 2 different types of gameplay. The first, a shoot 'em up, as you ride in on Pegasus, battling a variety of ugly creatures. The second is the beat 'em up side of the game, where you are on foot. There are caverns and caves to explore along the way, which is where the adventure comes into it. Every group of enemies you kill will leave behind a crystal or a token. Crystals can be collected, and pressing the spacebar when you have enough will provide a double-barreled weapon. Collecting more gives increased power. My first impression of this game was that it looked much the same as many others on the market. Happily, I was wrong, and I'm sure you'll find Pegasus very playable and very addictive. It's Invisible Man, isn't it?
Yeah, okay.
As a sorcerer's apprentice up to no good, you've let loose enough fuzzballs to overrun the sorcerer's tower. The sorcerer himself is none too impressed and has turned you into a fuzzball too. To be turned back into your old self, you have to clear every fuzzball from all 50 of the chambers in the tower. The fuzzball hunter is joystick controlled and is a little slow to respond. Mistakes make your progress through the game increasingly difficult, so if you're a novice, getting beyond level 1 is hard work. Shooting the marauding fuzzballs by pressing fire turns them into harmless blobs which you can knock off your platform. You must reach them quickly though, or they turn into something nastier and harder to kill, and every time you fail to knock them off, they get nastier still. These days, the number of original games which come on the market are very limited. We increasingly find familiar aspects in most games we play. This doesn't always mean it's a bad game, just that you can find the same thing elsewhere. With Fuzzball, System 3 have brought out another platform game, which on the whole I found a little too hard. But if you stick at it, it's great fun. How would you like to be the new Director General of a secret government protection agency, formed with the aim of keeping the current government in power? Enter the secret world of Floor 13. Based loosely on real life and possible situations, your office is where you run one of the most powerful government agencies in the world. Using a series of menus and windows, your only contact with the outside world is through newspaper reports, and reports given to you by the heads of your various departments. Groups of people hell-bent on watching, infiltrating, and destroying anything that might cause your government to lose control. The storylines are randomized each time you play, which means that the game never repeats. Floor 13 is one of the cleverest games I've ever played, a highly involving yet very subtle thriller with enough edge to make you wonder what's really going on. Purely incredible.
Not now, I'm busy. Look, when you go away, I'm trying to prepare the reviews.
This is your review spot.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
The plot behind Realms from Virgin Games is a fairly typical one. A young prince, enraged that his father has died, yells at the gods for a bit and is finally struck by lightning, which then turns into a snake. The battle for the throne has begun, and there can only be one king. Played in a similar style to Populous, Realms places you in charge of a territory on a small island. Using the armies of your small cities and the cash flow these cities generate, your aim is to capture all the land there is and become king. The controls behind Realms are incredibly simplistic. A small handful of icons give you all the governing power you need, from scanning across the fractally generated landscape to taking seat on a council. You can even play the taxman. And why do you generate money? To build your armies as strong as you possibly can. After all, there's nothing wrong with fighting with unfair odds if the odds are in your favor. Realms is a game for megalomaniacs and warmongers alike. A big thumbs up. You're Murphy, bug hunter extraordinaire, troubleshooting deep inside a crazy computer. You have to work your way through the whole system, collecting infotrons. That's diamonds to you and I. When you've collected them all, you can move on to the next level. Right, that's the scenario out of the way. What's the game like? Well, as you can see, Supaplex is a puzzle game of some complexity, although it's a lot simpler than it looks. It has 111 levels, and every one is a challenge. In fact, I have to tell you that the difficulty level is very high. Or is it just me? You have 3 chances to skip a level, so if you get to one you just can't seem to solve, you've got a way around it. It's joystick controlled, and it plays easily, both in feel and in learning, so even a journalist can play it. There's no time limit, and you have an infinite amount of lives, but don't think that that makes it any easier. There's a special trick in designing a game that convinces you that one more try will crack it, and this one does it on every level. My only criticism is that maybe it's a little too hard, but this depends very much on whether you play it like I do or not. Supaplex is a damned fine game.
Sid Meier, designer of so many of Micropro's combat simulations, takes everything to a much larger scale and shows us how to build a better world in Civilization. You are pitted against a variety of opposing nations in a race to build and strengthen your own colony. You begin the game somewhere on a small unexplored island. It's here you must mine, search, kill and learn as many skills as you can to take your barbaric race to an evolved military society capable of taking on all comers. As you grow, your world grows with you, and with it comes the danger. You're not the first settlers on the island, and there is no guarantee that the others are friendly. Agreeable tribes join you, but the enemy shoot to kill. On paper, the game sounds like SimCity. In practice, it is so much more. Meier has surpassed himself in terms of challenge and addictiveness. After all, who could resist a bash at world domination? One for the Hall of Fame.
And here's a tip for Lotus 2. Enter these password codes to play later levels. Twilight for night driving, Pea Soup for foggy conditions, Liverpool for motorway driving, and the Skids for snowy conditions. And here's a tip for Carve Up. For infinite lives, enter RJ Toon on the high score screen. And here's the next tip for Chuck Rock. Press escape on the title page and then enter Estrano. Chuck will now be able to fly. The last tip is for Robocop 2. Enter serial interface on the title screen to be able to refill your energy when necessary.
If you haven't tried Click's hotlines yet, do it now. This month on the Click hotlines, we've got hints on Robocard, Knights of the Sky, and Spot. And we also have the first half of the solution to Moonstone to keep you going. Try us now.
Now, of course, this is very different to last month when we did tech as purely a development house. Storm are also software publishers.
but I've probably got a lot more interesting stuff for us to look at. Now, one of the perks of being a programmer is you get your own arcade. Wouldn't you love one of these in your home? Of course, they're not the actual arcade cabinets. I mean, these high-quality units are hand-built, but they serve their purpose. Now, there could be some stuff back here that we're not supposed to look at. Let's take a glance. No? Oh, maybe next month, eh? Let's have a look down here. Now, this is the nerve center of the sales curve. This is where all the hard work goes on. All the programming in here. Here they all are, busily working away on the latest conversions. Over here we've got Double Dragon 3, 16-bit. Final Blow on ST. Double Dragon 3 on 8-bit. And Storm's newest, Big Run. But we're not interested in any of this. We don't want to see this. We want to see Indie Heat, which is down here. Ned and John, programmers of Indie Heat.
Oh.
How difficult is it to convert something like this?
Something like Indie Heat. Well, I'm the graphics man for this one, and it was, for me, it was relatively easy compared to other things because we got the graphics from the arcade company who did the machine. They sent us lots of discs with all the various tracks from the arcade machine in it like this. And the only really difficult thing was doing it for the ST. The Amiga was alright, that's in 32 colours. For the ST, I had to change the colours down and remap the tracks with Deluxe Paint 3, which is quite easy. But the rest was up to John.
I understand things weren't quite so easy for you, John. I mean, when converting something like this, how do you decide what stays in and what doesn't?
Well, what I usually do is I play the arcade machine until I almost know it inside out. And I have to then decide which parts of the game are important to the gameplay and which parts I can leave out without affecting the gameplay at all. In the case of Indie Heat, I had to leave out the fifth car because it wasn't really important to the gameplay. Four cars are enough, but the fifth car would have made my game run too slowly. So that's the kind of thing I have to do.
Now, you might think it's a nightmare converting onto 16-bit. How do you think the 8-bit guys feel? So what is it like converting onto 8-bit?
Well, usually with the graphics, what we do is we take the arcade graphics and convert them down to the 64 and touch them up. Like in the case of Indie Heat, we tried that, but it didn't look any good. So what I had to basically do was draw the graphics from scratch, and they turned out all right.
And as far as programming goes, on an 8-bit machine, you can't hope to make it anything like the arcade original. So what you do is you write a program that plays like the original and looks more or less like the original. But in real terms, if you were to see the two side by side, the 8-bit game would be nothing like the arcade game. But it feels the same, and that's the important thing.
Right. So we're taking a fully packed arcade machine like this, running onto 16-bit, 8-bit, and even on the Game Boy. But none of this is impressive. Not when you got it on your watch like I have. See you later. Take that.
Click Magazine proudly presents the first in our occasional series of classics from the past. This month, we bring you the game that captured the world, Elite. Elite was the original space trading game, where you, in your Cobra Mark III spaceship, had to fly around the galaxy, trading to make money to buy weapons, and taking your rating from harmless through to elite. The game follows two courses to success. First, you could trade your way around the galaxy, buying low, selling high, and basically being dull. The alternative is to bounty hunt, picking off space pirates wherever you find them. Elite was way ahead of its time when it was first created on a BBC Micro. Even now, it still stands as an exhilarating ride, and a classic piece of software that no one should be without.
Famed for having a physique Stallone could only dream of, Conan was not always a muscle-bound savage barbarian. Once he was a lowly muscle-bound blacksmith, until his wife was murdered by a religious sect. You control Robert Howard's hero in his quest for revenge. The game is played in the mythical land of Chimera, where Conan must travel in his hunt for the leader of the sect. The game revolves around icons on the right of the screen that have different effects depending on where you are. Here they give status reports, as well as controlling movement around the landscape. There are a lot of characters to interact with throughout the game, making for a nice strategic feel. The combat sequences let this game down, and unresponsive controls with limited moves make these sections hard to play. Apart from this, it could have been an incredible product. Here you go, Lucy. This month's cover mounts. Get it right this time, huh?
I'm not Lucy.
Ah. Why not?
Well, she's on holiday.
So who are you?
I'm Rachel. Well, this month, Lucy was going to tell us about the problem of viruses on cover mounts. But recently, I found this article in the papers which does it for me perfectly. It says that a floppy disk given away with the December issue of Amiga User International was infected with a virus called Saddam, deadly enough to wipe out a computer's entire memory. Of course, the publishers withdrew every copy as soon as they found out. But be warned, cover mounts will be hazardous to your computer itself.
Most computer games magazines are designed for dedicated players. Ace is designed for dedicated winners. Ace from EMAP Images.
I love this game for two good reasons. One, it's brilliant, and two, the gore option. I always hated the fact that after cutting and smashing an enemy to bits, he vanished, and there was no body lying in the dirt as testimony to my swordsmanship. Or maybe I'm just sick. Here you get not only bodies, but arms, legs, and heads rolling, giving Moonstone the atmosphere every beat-em-up should have. That's not all though, there's an adventure here too. And what an adventure. Right, down to serious reviewing. The land in which you search for the stone has 4 vast areas inhabited by a whole host of weird creatures after your blood. And I mean blood. In each land, there's a key which will give you access to the final level, the Valley of the Gods. And along the way, you can collect gold and magic treasures which increase your strength. You can also build experience points to improve your prowess with a sword and collect life points. It's worth collecting as many of these as possible, since you lose them every time you're hit. As the sales blurb says, Moonstone is so much fun, you'll die. They ain't kidding. If only all games came out this good.
Sports boxing is an attempt at simulating not just the fights, but the whole sport. You can create and save 10 of your own boxers. You say how tall, how heavy, and how strong they are, then train them up and get them in the ring to see how well you've done. The controls are quite complicated, but give you every move you could possibly need. The simulation can be controlled with a joystick, mouse, or keyboard. Thanks to the three-dimensional aspect of the game, you can duck, dive, and weave. You can watch the fights from 9 camera angles and watch the best moments again and again with the action replay facility. However, 4D boxing falls down on its playability. Although the blows have a nice feel to them, the reaction to the controls is incredibly slow. If you're looking for a boxing game that has the feel of a fight, then look elsewhere. But if you're after something with an understanding of the whole sport, then you could do worse than this one. Air, Land and Sea is a compilation of 3 of Electronic Arts' leading simulations. First up is the Su-25 Soviet Attack Fighter, a long title for one hell of a good sim. You fly this advanced fighter over a series of 12 missions, ranging from photographic recon right up to full-scale strikes on well-defended bases. What makes it so spectacular is the super-fast polygon engine churning out some of the smoothest curved vectors yet seen. The design is straightforward, with standard arming and briefing setups, but Su-25 is more than a standard sim. Also included in the package is the excellent 688 attack sub, but I'm sure the one that will catch everybody's eye is the Indy 500. Not to be confused with Microprose's Grand Prix, Indy 500 is a pure arcade racer around the Indianapolis mile-long racetrack. Again, it's quite basic in design. Its real selling point is the action replay feature, where you can watch a recent piece of driving from one of 6 camera viewpoints. Just right for watching pile-ups. Air, Land and Sea comes to you heartily recommended.
Review spot coming up. Can you get me any close?
Yeah? Come back in 5 years, mate. Jake, you might have learned how to use a joystick by then.
Pit Fight was a great arcade game, and now it's a home machine. You can be any one of 3 different fighters, and there are 8 people to fight against. The graphics are all digitised from real people too. Two people can fight at once, and you can attack anyone you like, including your friend. Ha 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 ha. During the fights, you can pick up objects to use as weapons against the enemy. This includes sticks, throwing stars, crates, kegs and barrels. You can get power-ups too when you knock over barrels. If you get these before the enemy does, your punches get harder. Everything from the arcade game is here, right down to the crowd, but all this makes the game very slow. The controls are very slow to react, which makes the game almost unplayable. Though Mark's conversion is very close to the original, maybe too close. Pit Fighter is all very well put together, but it's not the sort of game that works well on a 16-bit machine.
PGA Golf has been about for a while, but now Electronic Arts have seen fit to package it with course discs for the first time. Any PC owner should need no introduction. PGA Golf, while lacking some of the technical accuracy of Microprose Golf, is still a superbly produced sports simulation. Playing it is easy. 2 timed fire button presses determine the strength and accuracy of the shot, and a cursor determines direction. Remember to take wind into account when aiming. So what's the improvement? Well, not only do you get to play around at the PGA West Stadium green, you can also try your hand at Sawgrass or Avenel. The beauty of a golf game is being able to learn to play it well as the ability to play competitively. PGA Tour Golf carries it off with ease. Now, I don't know about you, but when I see a game with core design on the pack, I just have to load it. With a consistently high track record, with games ranging from Carve Up to Heimdall, Core just seem to always get it right. Wolfchild is no exception. The game idea is quite simple and borrows a lot from the arcade classic Altered Beast. You, as the Wolfchild, have to punch and blast your way across levels from battleships to bugs, wiping out the enemy and hunting for the power-up capsules that change you from child to wolf. In true coin-op style, everything is thrown at you. Even plant life lends a hand, or should that be a stem, in trying to destroy you. Strangely enough, the old cliche, not everything is against you, doesn't appear to be true. Even the lifts in the game have a tendency to break down and plunge you into deeper and deeper trouble. It's frantic action all the way, but thankfully, the variety of backdrops and nasties stops it from becoming repetitive. Maybe it's not the most original game of the year, but one well worth adding to your collection.
We've come up with our very own harebrained scheme to save you money. You can get £5 off one, some, or even all the games featured in this issue of Click, just by filling in the voucher enclosed in your pack and sending it with your dosh to the address on the card. This way, you can not only recover the money you spent so wisely on Click, you can even make a profit.
You know, Tony, I'm just not getting the cooperation I need in this office.
I know what you mean. You can't trust people anymore. I don't mind Jim taking 2 weeks off work. It's just he gets paid more than me for doing it.
You two moaning at them. Worked out all right in the end, didn't it?
I think I came off rather well in that one. Better than that dipstick Sav, anyway.
I'll shut your mouth if you want to be in issue 3.
Yeah, don't call us, we call you.
Yeah.
Oh, boys, I can't stand any more of this. When's Lucy coming back? Why can't we have any more women in this office?
Yeah! Get a blonde! Yeah, Jason knows a nice one, didn't you, Jace?